Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Welcome back. Oh, I think this is not plugged in. One second. Hey, Howard, welcome back. Let's see, is this working now? I thought I had my setup. Oh, no, this is what I want. Hope you had a good weekend. Okay, that must be better. I don't know if you can hear a difference in the sound. I thought I had my mic in, but I didn't. Welcome back. Hope you had a really good weekend. And also, I hope you saw my message. Well, tonight we're going to do the Portuguese dogfish, so I'm really excited to cover the species. But I hope you, Howard, saw my message about your prize package. Thank you so much for your awesome submission for the 2025 Shark Week banner contest. So that you were the grand prize winner. I know it took me a while to put it together, and I apologize for that. Just with wedding planning and I think just been really busy lately. So I kind of like got a little delayed on that. But it is mailed. It is sent. So you should be seeing that Wednesday. And I sent over tracking number information so that you have it. But your prize package should be arriving in Canada on Wednesday. So keep me posted. It's going to be really cool. Got a lot of fun goodies in it. So congratulations again. Just want to make sure that you knew that it was on your way. So, but I hope you had a great weekend. Referenced my fiance earlier. We went and did our wedding walkthrough last weekend. So we're getting closer and closer. I will be off the second to last week in September. So we will not have a stream in a couple weeks. We'll have like 3 sharks left. We'll take a little bit of break just for the wedding, and then we'll be back for a really cool fall season of fun spooky sharks since we're getting closer and closer to October. But this is already kind of a spooky species, the Portuguese dogfish. So I'm very excited to dive into it. There's actually a lot more material than I was originally realizing related to this species. So this is a kind of sleeper shark. It's a cousin of the Greenland sleeper and the southern sleeper. It's just a much smaller shark, but it's kind of cool. The term dogfish is almost a misnomer. I mean, the entire order Squaliformes is a kind of dogfish, or like the order of dogfish sharks. But this particular species is a sleeper shark, and I believe sleepers are characterized by not having the dorsal fin spines. This is a smaller kind of sleeper, but still a sleeper nonetheless. So we'll take a look at some footage of related species, some really cool profiles on the Portuguese dogfish. There's actually a lot more material than I originally realized. I know I mentioned that right at the top of the stream, but a lot of research done on the species. It's a pretty famous species in the scientific community. I feel like it's been a deep water shark it's one of the most well-known deep water sharks, and it's been in kind of like scientific literature for a very long time. So I'm excited to dive in. Went on a boat cruise Saturday night. Awesome. Where did you go? I'm kind of curious, just like what body of water that was, but that sounds really, really fun. So that's so cool. It was fun Saturday. We were by the water as well, so we were in Virginia Beach, and we didn't really we spent a lot of time on the boardwalk area. So we didn't really go to the actual beach, like we didn't do a beach day, but we had a really nice walk on the boardwalk, and then went to one of the fishing piers. What was kind of cool is I did get a chance to see I don't advertise or support shark curios. Like I don't, if it's like a research related thing, that's one thing. But if it's like for actual living shark jaws, if it's like research related, that's one thing. Or if there was like, it was an object collected, just kind of through time, like just through time, and like not really intentionally killing a shark for curios, that's another thing. But there was an interesting shop near the pier that had some jaws, and I was kind of curious. Ooh, Lake Ontario saw lots of cormorants. Really cool. We have a lot of cormorants down here too. The double-crested cormorant is the one that we have, but they're pretty fun. Very voracious fish-eating birds. So. But for Virginia Beach, it was like a shell shop that we went to, but it was interesting seeing they had a mako shark jaw that was actually a pretty good size. They had two stuffed sharks that were so poorly taxidermied that I'm not really sure what species they were. They do look like small requiem sharks, but I really can't tell what they were as far as they just were so damaged looking. They're requiem sharks. They almost look like this Portuguese dogfish in this photo. So it just shows you how badly they were preserved. They were just very shriveled looking. It just wasn't really a good job. So, and then finally there was very damaged, very decolorized chain cat shark. So it's a deep water shark species that usually it's a very beautiful species, but this particular specimen just was completely faded on the colors. It was an interesting view of their teeth, which were like very needle sharp, but overall like all three of those specimens were just like not preserved well. The mako shark jaw was actually really, really good, like a really good set. But so it was interesting, and I went into that shop just to look because it's advertised as a shell shop, but I was very curious to see. Usually, those kinds of stores have shark material, and I was very curious to see. Okay, where did this come from? Are these local species, or are they, sourced somewhere else? So. But there was only 4 shark things. The majority was like shells. But it was interesting to see. So it's kind of like, on the one hand, it's like very fascinating to see. On the other hand, it's like, you don't want to see like dead shark material. Of the species I mentioned, if it's Carcharinus, it depends on the species, but sometimes like those little stuffed sharks, like. It can either be a vulnerable species or a species that is relatively okay. The cat shark is nearly threatened, but actually, I think the cat shark might be least concerned. The mako shark is definitely not really great because the mako shark is endangered species, so or like a species very vulnerable to exploitation. So. A little side tangent, but it was overall like a really great weekend as far as just spending time in the Hampton Roads area and the Virginia Beach area was a lot of fun. So, but I think without further ado, we'll take a look at what makes a Portuguese dogfish a Portuguese dogfish, also known as a Portuguese shark. We'll just kind of squish this so we can get for easier reading. Here we go. All right. So our good friend, Florida Museum of Natural History. Actually has a species profile on the shark, which I was pleasantly surprised to see, because usually Florida Museum, I feel like they deal with shallow water species, so I wasn't expecting deep water sharks at all on this website. So, this small, stout, deep water shark has small fins set far back towards the asymmetrical caudal tail fin. It is blackish brown in color with large eyes and mouth. Size can reach a maximum of about 4 feet, but they tend to be found at depths greater than 1,000 feet, so 400 meters. So that is quite squarely in the twilight zone. If I'm not mistaken, this shark is actually one of the deepest dwelling sharks. Let's double check that really quick with FishBase, because I'm pretty sure you can find this shark. Okay, 2,000 meters. That's extremely deep. So that is. Midnight Zone. Also, Howard, I definitely agree. These tourist-type shops almost never have much accompanying data. I completely agree, and that's a real shame because that actually could be very useful, and as far as like trying to figure out where the shark came from, and also extremely useful in terms of like whether or not that specimen was legally or illegally collected, and that's probably why. That's one factor in terms of why they don't really come with data, which is really sad. The one thing I used to see a lot, and I'm grateful I don't see these anymore, are dogfish in jars. I'm sure they still exist, but I haven't seen those in a very long time. So, but those are really terrible curios because dogfish are a vulnerable species, and it's just they don't really do very well versus fishing pressure, and it's just like those are really. I used to have one when I was a teenager, and I just never really knew about shark conservation as well as I do now, and I just never really knew that was just like not at all a good species to have. So, Portuguese dogfish is a nearly threatened species. So this particular deep water shark is fortunately faring better than a lot of others. I just want to check its depth range. There we go. That's what I thought I remember. So lower depth limit. This is one of the deepest dwelling sharks we've ever seen on the channel. 3,675 meters. So that is really incredible. That's 368 atmospheres. So every 10 meters is an atmosphere of Earth's pressure. Or sorry, an atmosphere of pressure, like an atmosphere, like our atmosphere. So this is like 368 times the atmosphere of the surface, acting on this species at its deepest depth. So 3,675 meters, very deep into the midnight zone. So it's one of the most extreme sharks in that sense that we get to have kind of off our coast. But as you can see on this map, they are a pretty wide-ranging species. It's kind of cool that they're both on northern and southern hemisphere, so they have a almost global distribution. What's extremely cool, let's see, is this is a shark that might be getting closer to the Arctic Circle. It's definitely found in Greenland, which is really impressive. Maybe not quite as high as the Arctic Circle, but still like very far up there as far as definitely entering polar waters. So once you get north of Newfoundland, ecologically, you're getting into more polar conditions. So really the temperate zone kind of stops around here, and this is more of like true oceanic Arctic zone. So it's amazing to see a shark that is actually kind of entering into Arctic waters. Definitely northern Iceland is also Arctic. Southern Iceland is temperate, technically. Northern Iceland is Arctic. So it's so cool to see a polar shark. You can even see a little bit of that little population down here getting closer to Antarctica. So definitely high temperature tolerance, which is so cool. So love to see that the Portuguese dogfish is one of the rare icy sharks, like one of the rare sharks of frozen seas. That's so cool. Because of their size and depth habitat, they're considered no harm to humans, but they're fish for liver, oil, and meat. Of course, yeah, they're very small, perfectly harmless. English names are the Portuguese shark, Portuguese dogfish, and Siki shark. I like Siki shark. It's kind of fun. So. Let's see if there's any other interesting names. Italian is an interesting name. This Ceontroscymnus, which is kind of cool because the Latin name is Ceontroscymnus. So it's kind of fun to see the Italian name is related to that. So. Let's see, captured by hooks and trawls, mainly as bycatch. They're targeted in Japan and Portugal for their liver oil due to the high level of squalene present. So squalene is an oil that used to be used in a lot of makeup products, and I think technically it may still be used depending on whatever the brand is. A lot of modern makeup products like don't have it. They intentionally have manufactured squalene, so it's not shark squalene, it's synthesized squalene. But this used to be a product that was very present in makeup as an oil, and I think there's other uses of squalene. I can't recall them right now, but in Eastern Atlantic, the flesh is used for human consumption, a reduction into fish meal. They're not of commercial importance off the coast of New England in the U.S. They derive their name from having been first described from Portugal, which makes sense. I was always curious why this was called the Portuguese dogfish, and that makes sense that the first specimen was from Portugal. Let's see. Portuguese shark has been commercially exploited in some regions of the world for squalene. The productivity of this species is likely to be low, although age estimates and annual fecundity are currently unknown, and further increases in catches should be a reason for concern. Conservation measures include regulations set forth by the Southeast Trawl Fishery in Australia, which prohibits the landings of livers unless the accompanying carcass is also landed. So this is actually really great. This is similar to the American finning ban where you have to land the whole animal in order to for it to be counted in as a landed individual. Like you can't sell parts of a shark. You can only sell the whole shark. And this is actually a great way to keep track of which species is being caught, so that in a weird way it helps prevent poaching. Because shark fins, or shark livers, if you just came to the dock and said I have the fins or livers of a completely fine species, and it's actually an endangered species, it's really difficult to tell that apart. It's really difficult to identify that or verify that. But if you ban just shark parts and make it a rule that only the entire carcass can be counted for your fisheries product, that's a great way to help discourage poaching, because you can't get away with passing off one shark for another. It's going to be verified whether or not it is a species that is allowed to be fished or not. So it's kind of cool. I've heard of the one for finning, but I haven't heard for the one in the southeast trawl fishery in Australia, which prohibits landings of livers unless the accompanying carcass is also landed. So similar concept, kind of just different scenario, but very good step in conservation overall. Portuguese dogfish stretches from Grand Banks, Newfoundland to New England in the Western Atlantic, from Iceland to the Azores. Found off China and New Zealand. They are benthic and live in deep water near the bottom, often on continental slopes or abyssal plains. That's really cool to hear. Just see a shark of the abyss, of the abyssal plains. That's just, not many sharks can handle that kind of pressure, so it's just really, really awesome to see that. They're captured most frequently at depths below 400 meters in Australia. They occupy a range of depths from 270 to 3,675 meters, so 12,000 feet. Kind of want to get a comparison, so let's see. I'm going to look up some buildings really quick. Tower height. So that is, if I'm not mistaken, 12 Eiffel Towers? So it lives 12 Eiffel Towers deep. Let's see the Empire State Building. Empire State Building height. Wow, okay. So I have to do some math. 10 Empire State Buildings. So it lives 10 Empire State Buildings down into the depths. Mount Everest, I really should be thinking bigger as far as the depth. Okay, so not quite Mount Everest. So it lives half an Everest down. It's still extremely impressive. And referring to your comment, Howard, yes, absolutely impressive depth. So half of Mount Everest down into the depths is where you can find this shark. That's so cool. Portuguese shark segregates by size and sex, with mature males tending to be in the lower depths, while mature females inhabit the deepest waters, and the immature are found between the two. Okay, so it's really cool that, and we have to verify if this shark kind of falls in the pattern of other sharks where females tend to be larger than males. If that has something to do with the fact that the females are in the deepest environment. Males are not as deep, and the immature, the juveniles are in between. Because there's this really cool pattern in nature where you see that larger sharks tend to be in deeper waters, the smaller sharks tend to be in shallower waters. So it's kind of cool to see that the mature females, which tend also to be the larger sex of sharks, it's really cool to see that they are in the deeper water. Biology. The mouth of the shark is large, with short upper and lower labial furrows. Two dorsal fins are similar in sizes and heights and have small fin spines. That's interesting to see, because I thought sleeper sharks don't have those. But let's take a closer look at some photographs. This is actually a pretty good picture. Really great shot of the and really spooky looking shark. I mean, it is a deep water species, so really great a shot of the reflective eyes, which are very large. It's kind of cool to see that the eyes and the snout are so closely together and concentrated in this area. So it's like this central sensory area. I mean, the brain is it's like the brain, the eyes, and the nose are all so closely linked together right here. So it's kind of like a small head relative to the rest of the body. The mouth is right here. Very large spiracles, and then the gills are right here, right in front of the pectoral fin. I don't see any spines, and I'm not used to sleeper sharks having spines on the dorsal fins. I don't see that. So I don't know if it's a typo from Florida Museum of Natural History. Let's check out Fishbase's species description. Oh, this is an interesting photograph of one. This specimen is kind of damaged. You can tell by the frayed fins, and then just the quality of the snout. That's preservation damage. Let's see. Okay, so Fishbase says it has dorsal spines, and Fishbase is very accurate. So it looks like that maybe the spines are very greatly reduced. Because sleeper sharks, again, I'm not used to. I don't believe they have spines typically. So, but maybe the smaller ones do. So, very interesting. Let's see. This shark may be confused with the Greenland shark or the kitefin shark. However, both of these species lack dorsal spines. Okay, so it makes me feel a little bit better. Where, because I knew sleeper sharks didn't have those. So this is in the same family as a Greenland shark. It is a kind of sleeper shark, but this one apparently has like small spines. So very interesting teeth here. So it looks like the upper teeth are very long, sharp, needly for gripping prey, and then the lower teeth are definitely like shearing teeth, interlocking, kind of like a chainsaw. So very freaky tooth type. So I imagine what the shark does is it bites down, gets a good angle on probably like larger pieces of prey, probably like scavenging. Potentially whale falls. It takes a bite and then wriggles its body to shear off chunks of flesh. The mix of the long, narrow teeth and then the blade-like teeth here just kind of suggests that it has that kind of method of eating. So, which is similar to sleeper sharks. Greenland sleepers do a very similar thing. So. Coloration: adults are uniformly blackish to golden brown, without any obvious markings. Juveniles are more black than brown, but also uniformly colored. The upper and lower teeth are markedly different in shape. The upper teeth are slender and erect with one lance-like cusp and no cusplets. The lower teeth are very short with oblique cusps, described as blade-like. The teeth of the upper jaw number around 58, while there are about 40 teeth in the lower jaw. Let's see. Maximum reported size is about 4 feet, so 119 centimeters. But most adults are around 90 to 95 centimeters, so about 3 feet. Females mature at about 3.3 feet, but females have been observed mature as small as 2.6 feet. I'm very curious what these sharks eat. So benthic invertebrates, bony fishes, other sharks, cetacean meat. Okay, so that makes sense with the tooth type. So this shark does go after whale falls. So when a whale dies and falls to the bottom of the sea after all the gases are expelled from its body, it will sink to the bottom of the ocean, and the shark will take chunks of the meat. It will grab on with its jaws and then wriggle itself to shear big chunks of meat from the carcass. So seal meat apparently does this with seals too. That's pretty wild. So again, benthic invertebrates, bony fishes, other sharks, cetacean meat, and seal meat are all part of the Portuguese shark's diet. However, they have been known to show preference for cephalopods and bony fishes. They actively scavenge as well through foraging. Though foraging methods are not well known, but they will take live prey. Let's see. These sharks are ovoviviparous. No, sorry, ovoviviparous. Ovoviviparous. There we go. They have low fecundity with 10 to 14 pups per litter, and females have a resting period between gestation. At birth, pups have a length of approximately 30 centimeters or 12 inches. Reproduction is thought to occur year-round, and active mature males and females are found in the same depth interval. So it kind of makes sense. The deep water environment is very stable compared to shallow water environments that have a lot of seasonal variation. So it kind of makes sense that reproduction for this deep water shark is throughout the year because those conditions largely remain stable throughout the year. And I say largely because you probably still see seasonal variations in like marine snow in deep water environments, nutritional availability in deep water environments. That they probably are indirectly affected by the seasons overall, but the temperature is stable down in the depths, so there's not a lot of seasonal variation in temperature. So it kind of makes sense that these sharks probably reproduce throughout the year. So. The genus name Ceontroscymnus is derived from the Greek kentron, which means sting, and from the Greek skymnos, which means puppy. So I like that the Latin translation is sting puppy. Kind of curious if there's more information on that. Fish base typically will have more, so we'll take a look at that. Ceontroscymnus centrum is prickle or sharp point, referring to the spines in both dorsal fins. Skymnus is an ancient name for some kind of shark, derived from a Greek word meaning young animal, cub, or whelp. So it kind of means stinging whelp, stinging cub, or stinging shark. So what's kind of cool about that is, there's this Greek overlap between the word shark and the word puppy, kind of like the word dog. We call these sharks in English dogfish. And dogfish is a common term for smaller sharks that like to school together, kind of like a pack of dogs. So it's so interesting to see that overlap. The species name Celo comes from coleos, which means hollow, and lepis is the word for scale, referring to its concave skin denticles. So it's the hollow-scaled stinging puppy is the literal Greek translation of its scientific name. So, which is really cool. That's actually a really good name. I like scientific names that are descriptive of the shark or kind of refer to the shark and not to like a famous person or a famous scientist. So we're going to take a look at two clips. So we unfortunately don't have the Portuguese dogfish, but we do have a cousin. And let's see if we can zoom in just for better viewing. This is Ceontroscymnus ostonii, so it's the same genus. It is a kind of stinging puppy shark, if you will. And there he is. So really beautiful to see how the shark moves, and it's actually really cool to see these reflective eyes in the darkness. Oh man, this is such a treat. The texture of the skin is so interesting. It's almost velvety looking. I don't think I've seen this before in a shark. It's so different looking than other kinds of sharks. Sharks have kind of like that smooth iridescence, but this looks like it's more of a kind of like a I can't even quite describe what that texture is. Oh, look at this. This is amazing footage. This clip is from the Cayman Islands Department of Energy, so I'm just going to go ahead and subscribe. This is really cool. And again, this is such a treat to see. No, not this. Not an ad, not an ad. Sorry. It's such a treat to see a cousin of tonight's shark. Skip. Let's see if we can get a better view of this. Here we go. And let's slow this down too. Playback speed. And let me know in the comments any observations you make as well. So clearly this shark is very interested in, this is a baited remote, maybe not remote, but this is a baited camera rig. I love this shot of the eyes in the darkness are so reflective. The shark coming in towards the bait. Zoning in pretty well. This particular species, the rough-skinned dogfish, has a little bit more of a pointed snout than the Portuguese dogfish, but overall it's a similar body plan, having a very truncated tail, very large eyes, mouth kind of underslung. Again, this beautiful texture. You can actually see lighter spots or denticles on the back. There he is again. Clearly extremely interested in this bait. It's so cool to see this animal move. Man, it's so coul. And it's like it's like you have to wonder, slender and graceful. Yeah, absolutely. And I know this sounds strange, but I wonder what it feels like, because the skin texture just looks so different. It has this really interesting, almost plasticky looking sheen to it. This is a female, by the way, checking the bait out, but it has this like kind of plasticky looking skin texture, and I'm not really sure what feeds into that as far as what's kind of like contributing to that look. That's actually really cool to see, the shark protecting its eyes. Check this out. So eyes wide open, it's getting close to the bait, and then it's okay. I gotta slow this down. This is so interesting. This is so hard to explain. So there's a lot of flexibility with the eyes versus the body plan of the shark. So a lot of these deep water sharks, their eyes kind of like roll a little in their head, and this shark, as it's getting closer to the bait, it looks like the eyes are kind of rolling kind of inward towards the skull. So it also, oh, Howard, that's a great guess, in amyloid scales. That might be what's going on as far as the texture that I'm seeing, because like the light bouncing off the amyloid scales might be what's affecting that look overall, because it doesn't look like that smooth, it really doesn't look like the smooth look of shallow water sharks, like the smooth iridescence. It looks a little different. So that could be it, which is a really cool comment. Thank you. The eyes on this individual are so interesting to me, because a lot of deep water sharks, the eyes are kind of loose relative to the rest of the cranium, or the chondrocranium, the head. So as the shark is bumping this prey, or this bait rod, its eyes are kind of going inward towards the head, so it almost looks like it's blinking. It almost looks like it's closing eyelids, and it doesn't have eyelids. It's just that's how flexible the shark's skin is, and how flexible the head is, kind of relative to the rest of the body. So it's kind of like it. I guess a creepy analogy would be, I don't have eyelids, I can't blink. It's like if my eyes rolled into my head so deeply and everything else closed around it that it looks like it's blinking, but it's not. So it's such a weird thing, but it serves a very important function, which is protecting the eyes when biting. So, and the shark probably does this as it's biting large chunks of whale meat, as it's scavenging, and if it's kind of scoping out a carcass, just to protect the eyeballs. As we've talked about a lot on this channel, sharks have different ways of protecting their eyes. The infamous eyes rolling to the back of the head like a white shark, that's something that was made very infamous by Jaws, but that's actually a way to protect its eyeballs. So it's kind of like for such a powerful animal, it's kind of like a gentle thing when you think about it. Like, all sharks' eyes are sensitive, so when they bite down on something, they need to do something to protect them. All carchorhiniform sharks will have the nictitating membrane, which will serve as like a shield for the eyes and protect the eyes in that way. But every other kind of shark, including this species, doesn't have that, so it has to do things like rolling the eyes in the back of the head. So one more time on this clip, it's so cool to see it in action. So shark is swimming up to a prey item, or a potential prey item, checking it out, bumps into it. The eye starts to kind of retract a little bit, and then as it's taking a more of a inquisitive approach, or inquisitive bite, the eyes like briefly go all the way back. So it's so cool to see that. We're going to take a look at this clip one more time at full speed, just to kind of get an idea of how fast these sharks are. And they're actually, for a deep water shark, they move pretty quickly. So love the eyes in the darkness coming into the light, sniffing out what this prey item is. I love how the eyes are very pearly looking too. So pearly looking, creepy eyes. This deep brown, almost like grayish black coloration. Nice squared off caudal fins. Rounded pectoral fins. Kind of low dorsal fins. Pretty big head relative to body size. Overall very slender looking shark. Nice shot getting close up to the camera. And then that shot of the eyes going to the back of the head. Very cool. So, I have another clip of a distant cousin of the species, and I thought it would be kind of cool to compare. This is a pike dogfish, but what was interesting is this is in Yukon Harbor, and if it's in Yukon Harbor, I think this is the Pacific spiny dogfish, Squalus sucklei. So I think this is not the classic one that we are familiar with. This is a recently described separate species. But wanted to take a look at it just because, it's always fun to look at dogfish footage, but it's kind of cool to compare a shark that spends equal amounts of time in deep water and shallow water versus the true deep water species that we just saw, which is the Ceontroscymnus kind of shark. It's kind of cool to compare with a Squalus kind of shark. So they similarly don't have anal fins and are pretty small and can scavenge, as these sharks are doing right now. But I just thought it'd be kind of cool to check out and compare, and I've never seen this clip before. So they do have a similar feeding method too. So dogfish, ooh, this looks like a sculpin. A sculpin really going to town. So that's actually really cool to see a sculpin going after that prey so aggressively. That's really fun. I've been fortunate enough to see sculpin snorkeling in, nice little shot there. Snorkeling in the Pacific Northwest. And then there is a Pacific spiny dogfish checking out the meal. So I was about to say, they have a similar feeding method to the deep water Portuguese dogfish, where they will bite onto a prey item and then wriggle, which, yep, there he goes. So wriggling. And what he's doing, like his whole body is going rigid, and as he's wriggling, he's shearing these. The force generated by the whole body is shearing these cuts, like shearing these like chunks of flesh. So it's a way to kind of like carve the meal into more digestible pieces. So dogfish famously have been the bane of fishermen's existence because they will do this, while going after prey in fishing nets, and in that sense they will actually completely tear up the net, which is cool. I mean, for the dogfish perspectives, they get this great meal, but unfortunately the negative though is that their spines get tangled in the nets too. So, and then by the time fishermen haul up the net and they have a lot of dogfish, they have a very hard time. Oh, that's a great shot. Look at this. And he's doing the wriggle. It's so cool. Great demonstration of kind of dogfish feeding behavior, actually. This is a great clip. But fishermen, they have a hard time dislodging these sharks from nets because the spines get tangled, and then the sharks will actually go into a defense mode where they will arch their back to stab fishermen trying to untangle them from the spine, from the net. So, and the spines are actually slightly venomous too. So it's similar to a sea raven venom. So it's not lethal, but it is something that would cause a lot of irritation. So I like this little piece of sea lettuce masking the sharks. It's almost like Jurassic Park with the raptors. Like, so that's actually really cool. I definitely agree, Howard. It's a really nice clip. Love to see. This is where dogfish get their name, so you definitely see a school of them investigating this food source. So they like swimming together in groups, like a pack of dogs. And it looks like there might be some more bait inside the black little baggie, but the dogfish are definitely focused on the smell of all the fish oil and figuring out where that's coming from. So. That particular individual had some barnacles growing on its second dorsal fin, which is kind of interesting. The other dogfish individuals have pretty smooth spines. There we go. So it's that one. It's kind of interesting. I guess you would say that's parasitol or oh, that's a really cool clip. Interesting form of parasitic relationship. So. Compared to the Portuguese dogfish, it's kind of cool to see that these sharks have more of an iridescence to them. They definitely have the counter shading, so a darker back and a lighter belly. So that is relevant for a shallower water environment that gets a lot of sunlight. And then by comparison, the deep water shark is just uniformly dark brown or black. It's also interesting to see that these sharks, are longer, a little bit more slender. They definitely are a lot more active in terms of how they swim. So a lot more pivots, a lot more turns, a lot more energy. But the deepwater sharks, the deepwater Ceontroscymnus sharks, still were, again, fairly speedy or fairly active in that clip. Because a lot of deepwater sharks, like sleeper sharks or six-gill sharks, are very slow and lethargic in their movements. So trying to see what else that we can observe. Some pretty clear colors on the back as far as like these sharks. Oh, there's that sculpin again. These shallow water sharks have distinguishable spots on their back. And overall, I think just the counter shading and just like the scales are probably different, giving off more of a smooth iridescent sheen, whereas the deep water dogfish, just had a completely different look, like almost like, I want to say it's like a velvety look. So I want to skip this stupid ad and go back to the deep water shark for a quick comparison. So these are all in the same order. They're both squaliforms, but it's kind of cool to see and compare deep water versus shallow water and how that affects behavior and form, like just how it affects how these sharks look. So really, color is the biggest thing. Color and scale type are the biggest differences. So again, there's no counter shading on this shark. This is just a uniformly dark black, grayish brown species with large pearly eyes. The dogfish in the other video, had large eyes as well, but they had black pupils and kind of like more of a light bronzy sclera, I want to say, not an iris, but whatever the right term for the background of an eye is. But. So it's so cool to compare deep water animals with shallow water animals. There are some clear differences. So yeah. I think we'll peruse Fishbase and a couple other like summaries before we get into some science. Let's see. So we already read the origin of the name. The range. Very large lateral trunk tentacles, smooth circular acuspidate crowns in adults and subadults. Uniformly golden brown to dark brown in color. They are found in continental slopes and abyssal plains. 13 to 29 young per litter, so that's a little bit larger than what Florida Museum of Natural History was talking about. Let's see, for shark references, I'm curious if this is the original description of the species. Very blunt snout, very small fins here. Oh, it is. Yeah, image of the original description. From 1864. That's actually really cool. So this shark was discovered in 1864. For comparison, second to last year of the Civil War. So this shark was described during the Civil War, which is kind of unbelievable. Or the American Civil War, which is kind of unbelievable to think about. Let's see, a couple different names. This is a really rough looking, this is a messed up preservation specimen. Is this, let me see what this is from. Juvenile female caught in southwestern Atlantic Ocean. So, but it's just very damaged by preservation. You can actually see, it looks like a lot of the skin is, or scale, it almost looks like it's descaled, like a lot of, it seems like a lot of like the texture is gone, a lot of like, you see these like patches gone, the head is extremely dehydrated, very shriveled up looking, the fins are very frayed, so. Some names, Piolona, Peluda, Rosqueta, Portuguese Dogfish, Portuguese Shark. I like this one, Zara Preta. So, kind of fun. Really great description of the habitat right here. Bathy demersal. So, bathy typically refers to very deep water. Demersal refers to the bottom. So, lives in the bottom of very, very deep water, and 3,700 meters, extremely deep water. To even 2,000 is, I mean, that's squarely in the midnight zone. We got some great images of the jaws, so we'll take a look at that right now. So, and also excellent drawing from 1888. Really fantastic scientific illustration. Let's see if we can make this a little bit more viewable. There we go. So, excellent scientific illustration from 1888. It's interesting that this particular specimen is depicted as being a lot more elongate than the later specimens we've seen. That could be preservation damage. This almost looks like there's a crest above the eye, but that also probably, well, actually I don't know. I was about to say that's also preservation damage, but I don't know. This actually, from the top down and from the bottom up, this actually looks like a fairly healthy arrangement. So, yep, I absolutely agree, Howard. Amazing illustration, especially the tooth. The tooth is just fantastic. Just kind of seeing like the roots, the crown, how well they're captured, the definition. It's so cool. So, yeah, definitely agree. This is also a really cool drawing of the dermal denticle. So this is the scales of the shark, if you will. They're also called tooth scales, where it's made out of the same material as the actual shark's teeth, but these are the scales on the body. So they're very different from fish scales as far as like how they're formed. So love the definition on the head too. Yeah, and really great view here. I mean, this must be a pup. This must be a younger individual because it just doesn't seem, it just seems so small. And the thing that's kind of giving it away from me are the position of the gills. So the gills are right in front of the pectoral fins, which is correct, but I feel like we've seen pictures of a larger individuals where there's a little bit more girth beneath the gills. So. Incredible view of the upper jaw with these rows of very long, needly teeth. If you were a little fish or a squid, you would never want to get bit by this. It's truly a mouth bristling with teeth. So Portuguese dogfish definitely have teeth that mean business. Yeah, yeah, Howard, absolutely. Just like a comment, I'd love to have one like this on my wall. What's really cool is like I feel like there's. It'll be really great to go to like an antique shop or like an art show because I'm sure there's got to be publications that have this. The famous one that I am aware of is the Plagiostomon. I mean, that might be like very well preserved, but and I know there's like an online version of it. But the Plagiostomon is this. I think it's an early 1800s text that has these incredible illustrations. Oh, cool, Howard. Imbricate dentition. Yep, yep. It's like such a really remarkable tooth type. It's incredible to see it right here. Let's see if we can get the lower jaw. Oh, this is a great close-up of the upper jaw. Wow, these are just like these miniature daggers. And, you know, I feel like typical pop culture shark art, you know, they have all these sharks bristling with teeth, and that's really not super accurate. Like, maybe for sand tiger sharks it's accurate, but a lot of sharks kind of have, you know, one or two functional rows. Really just typically one functional row, but it's kind of cool to see that this particular species truly has a jaw brimming with teeth, or mouth brimming with teeth. So great shots here. Fantastic curve in the jaw too. It's they referenced Jurassic Park earlier, but I mean that looks almost like like the T-Rex jaw from the posters. It's such a cool view. Interior of the upper jaw, and then really great. Let me see if I can lower this. This is a really good view of how the teeth interlock on the lower jaw. So all these teeth interlock together to create like a single blade, which is going to be a very nasty bite. Like, so the shark again locks on with the upper jaw and then just twists its body to slash in a single swoop with the lower jaw. So Howard, yep, they must come up. The problem I have is with antique vendors who cut up ancient publications to increase profits. You know, I think we might be able. I'm kind of curious to see if we can get the Plagiostomon. We'll go through these photos, and I'm kind of curious if the shark is in there. So we'll go through these photos, and then I'll take a look at the species reference guide to see if we can get a look at some of those older illustrations. But nice photographs of the teeth here. Nice view of a not as damaged individual. This might be bloated. This individual could be unfortunately bloated, where if it was captured in deep water and then hauled up to the surface too quickly, a lot of deep water fish get bloated for that reason. Amazing! This is an amazing photo of this is the lower jaw, but looking directly down at it. So, gosh, look at this. It's almost kind of like a cathedral of teeth. This is such an incredible view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I don't even know if I'm missing. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 functional rows of teeth. That's really insane. Look at this. Oh my gosh, you would never want to be bit by this. So you have this outer row of functional teeth. You have an inner line kind of tucked beneath it, but then you have this central row of outer teeth. Another line. And then, oh man, this is amazing and just kind of horrifying, but like what a jaw. Like, what an incredible mouth. So yeah, this shark, imagine it clamping onto a dead whale, at the bottom of the sea, and it just rips off these huge chunks of flesh. It's just unbelievable to see that. A big coffee table book of old shark illustrations would be tasty. Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I'm so curious to see if we can get copies of the Plagiaustomen. So we'll look through. Let's see if there's any more photos of the shark. Yeah, buzzsaw mouth. Yeah. So let's check out Shark. If anyone has it, Shark References has it. So let's check out what they have. Let's see. Catalog of sharks in the British Museum. Let's see. There's a couple options. Let's try this one. The catalog of the fishes known to inhabit waters in North America, because I don't think I've seen this one before. Oh. Well, I guess we won't do this one. That's a shame. Let's try catalog of fishes in the British Museum. Let's see what that goes. Hey, Quackers, welcome back. Nope, that doesn't work either. There's gotta be something. Let's try this one. This is gonna be probably Portuguese, but hope you had a good weekend, Quackers. Okay, this is better. It's okay. I've definitely had days like that. Today's been a Monday for me, but I thought yesterday was Monday for some reason. Spent 10 minutes looking for the stream. No worries, Quackers. I appreciate you trying, so thank you. And I'm glad you're here tonight. So we are talking about the Portuguese Dogfish, which is this really cool deep water shark. And Howard and I were just talking about ancient, or not ancient, but older shark illustrations. Actually, we're kind of coming across some. So, oh, it's okay. No worries. No embarrassment whatsoever. I would say, as far as the channel goes, the most embarrassing thing was I can't remember if it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day or it was Labor Day. It was an American holiday on where the Monday was off, and because the Monday was off, I just totally forgot that like it was a streaming day, because I'm used to like Sunday is the day off and I kind of prep for the stream, and then Monday, it's like a busy day and like I do the stream. And because it's a 3-day weekend, it's like, oh, like I probably don't have a stream tonight. It was just like a weird internalization. So the first year of doing the Dr. Jaw stream, I can't remember if I missed it entirely or if I was just super late to it. But so that's probably the most embarrassing thing that happened on the channel. So, but yeah. So this is from where is this from? 1866. So this species, the Portuguese dogfish, was first described in 1864, which is a year before the end of the American Civil War, which is kind of wild. So this is a year after the end of the Civil War when this was published here. So, so this is actually a really cool mix of dogfish teeth. This one looks like the Portuguese dogfish right here. So they have these very long, narrow teeth in the upper jaw, and this interlocking conveyor belt of teeth in the lower jaw where the cusplets curve outward. This number 6 looks like a kite fin shark. So similar in the upper jaw, but the lower jaw, the teeth are very, they're pointing upward. They're not oblique. So let's see who else is here. Number 2 might be a classic dogfish. I think, if I'm not mistaken, dogfish sharks, like pike dogfish. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's it. So I see the Latin names here. So Acanthius. This is a dogfish. Okay. So actually, we can figure out what these are based on the Latin names. So these names are probably outdated, but Ceontroscymnus is the black dogfish. So that's number 1 right here. Acanthius, I'm assuming, is referring to Squalus acanthius, which is the pike dogfish or spiny dogfish. So shallow water shark here. One time I had a dream I had shark teeth, and I kept all my falling teeth and only ate shrimp. That's honestly a really. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm not even trying to like be like nice or funny. Like, that's a really cool dream. Like, that's actually really really cool. Um, like I've had I've had a few trippy shark dreams, and I love those dreams. And I don't think I've had one quite like that. I had a dream I had shark teeth, and I kept all my falling teeth and only ate shrimp. That's so cool. Um, like, what's kind of funny is that I get the weirdest dreams from Sleepy Tea. So it's like Sleepy Tea. Oh, unrelated. How long have you been doing this Monday stream? Uh, I think we're coming on 3 years almost. Because definitely, we hit. Let me. Do I have this right? Because we started in late 2020. Did we start in 20? Wait a minute. Hold on. That's a great question, Quackers. 1 second. I'm sure. When did we start? Because like we've done. It's definitely been 2 years because we're on stream 129, and we've definitely been. Oh, especially tea, something else. Yeah. So we started. Sorry, this is throwing me for a loop. 1 second. When was the first stream? I'm gonna look this up right now because this is going to be the easiest way to find it. Render forms, the bull shark one. So 2 years ago, we've been doing this for 2 years. 2022. Oh my gosh. So 2 years ago. But November 2022 is when it started. So that's unbelievable to think about. And it makes sense because there's been weeks... I actually don't take off often, but I definitely take off for the holidays. And then I think occasionally if I'm sick or if there's like an event or if I'm traveling, I'll take off. Because it's just kind of... I want to make sure it's always a good stream, and it's just going to be too much to like... travel and do it properly. On that note, by the way, so I'm sure you're aware, Quackers, I'm getting married soon, and in about a month, there's going to be a week where the stream is off because it will be the marriage week. So I'm going to be, and I'll give everybody plenty of notice, but actually, I guess I could give notice right now. The Monday of September 22nd, I will be out. So, so we have, if I'm calculating this correctly, I guess we have a whole month. No, we have more than a month. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 streams. Okay, 4 streams, and then going to be gone for a week. So yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you. So, so to answer your original question, 2 years going on 3 in November, which is wild. So, thank you, an autumn wedding. Thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. So we're really excited. Yeah, and it's honestly, I really appreciate. I feel like my fiance and I did a great job splitting the work and just weddings are hard. I mean, they're hard to plan, and it feels so good to be at the end, you know, where it's like it's all coming together. We pretty much got all of our fundamentals done. I mean, like everything that's like needs to be done is done. So it's really kind of wild that we're there. So thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. And you know, if my fiance is watching, which she often does, and I really appreciate that too. Thank you, because you know, you've done an amazing job. So like we make a good team. So. But getting back to trippy dreams, hard segue back into thank you, Howard, to trippy dreams. So Sleepy Tea, which is a literal tea blend that you can just pick up. It's like the one with the bear on it. It's like you can pick up at a grocery store. It's pretty popular, at least here. I don't know if it's called Celestial Teas, but something about that Sleepy Tea, which I think I might go ahead and make a cup tonight because I always enjoy the trippy dreams. But there's something about it that creates really trippy dreams. And for sharks specifically, I've had really cool ones and really wild ones, but like going to a new location and then diving to like a really deep depth, but not having scuba gear, and like meeting these weird sharks that like I mean like not weird. I think they're actually I think the sharks in the dreams are pretty accurate because like nurse sharks, bull sharks, like white sharks, and kind of feeling that fear of like, you know, I shouldn't be doing this because it's I don't have scuba gear or this species is a dangerous species, but also that excitement. Or aquarium dreams where it's like you're dreaming like you're in this aquarium, you know, and it's just like this weird giant space, you know. And it's kind of funny because at this point I've been scuba diving in an aquarium now, and I have to go back again later this fall, because it's a good diving option to kind of keep the scuba license. You know, you have to practice every 6 months. You have to do a dive every 6 months, and I live in a temperate area, so the aquarium is like a nice little convenient way to get some diving in without going to like Florida or something. So, yeah, Jen, I think the bear has lore sequence. Oh, they say mugwort herbs enhances your dreams. Interesting. Oh, Quackers! I've dreamt about the Osaka Aquarium multiple times. I really want to visit there. Super cool. Yeah, that's actually... you know what? Okay, I'm really curious now. I'm just going to Google Osaka Aquarium really quickly, because I don't think I've spent a lot of time looking at this one. So, let's do... Does it have a website? I'm just going to look at images just to kind of get an idea, because I've heard of the whale sharks. Whale sharks, yeah. That's really cool. So I've heard of them having whale sharks, which is unbelievable. That's so cool. Ooh, nice spider crab. Man, this looks really cool. Oh my gosh, they have sunfish. So they have mola molas. I'm sure there's a couple of aquariums at this point that have whale sharks, but the only two that I know for sure are this one and then the Atlanta Aquarium. Very cool. So sorry, I was kind of curious about that. Let's see. Let's try... I'm kind of curious about these other teeth, by the way, too. Ceontroscymnus is a gulper shark. Spinax is a lantern shark. Ceontroscymnus, awesome, I was right. This is the Portuguese dogfish. Number 6 is Scymnodon. I was wrong about this one. This one is a... I gotta look that up. I forget what Scymnodon is. That one is... Scymnodalacia, a knife-toothed dogfish. Okay, knife-toothed dogfish is this one. So, and then this one, Centrina. Not exactly sure what that one is either, because that is... Huh. Oh, a rough shark, Oxynotus centrina. So that's actually really cool. Yeah. So this is pretty fun. So rough sharks as a group are really interesting. These are like the pyramid sharks. Like they look like swimming pyramids. So Oxynotus centrina. So we can get a picture of that. There we go. So they have such an interesting look to them, where they're very cute. They're kind of like swimming footballs with fins. That's actually a really good picture of one right here. So they have like these really squared looking faces, very broad triangular dorsal fins. From profile, they actually have a pyramidal shape too. That's actually a great view of it. So you see, it's actually like, it's got these like ridges on the belly, so it looks like a swimming pyramid. It's such a cool group of sharks. So we've covered 2 species, I think, on the channel on the stream, but there's quite a lot more that I'd be happy to explore. Maybe potentially as a candidate for next week. So, but yeah, these are really fun sharks. Swimming footballs, yeah. Let's see. So we'll kind of keep looking because these are kind of the same species. I want to see if we can get a plate. There we go. So let's see if we can get a better view. This little pig went for a deep water swim. Wow, this is cool. Look at that. Now that is an illustration. Look at that. I'm trying to find a good view where you can see as much detail as possible. Wow, this is incredible. Look at this. Wow. So this might be our shark. Actually, no, this one is a knife-tooth dogfish. The teeth are too erect. And here it is, Scamnodon rignan. So this is a knife-tooth dogfish. But incredible illustration. I love that the jaws distended just kind of give this like especially fearsome looking appearance. So, and even though this is based on the fin shape, this is a preserved specimen. Still incredible illustration from 1866. Just unbelievable. I love down here this kind of like pencil sketch. That's extremely accurate. I really think that the artist is a master. They did a great job capturing the profile of this kind of shark. Great illustration of the teeth here. There is a swimming football, Oxynotus. So actually, this is also a pretty accurate illustration. Love that comic quackers. Oh my goodness, yeah. So, if it's a sketch like, oh, hi. So I love the green reflective eyes too. So in 1866. Yes, Howard, the protruding mouth reminds me of the goblin shark. It really does. And it's actually a great example of showing why the goblin shark early depictions weren't super accurate, because the protrusion that the goblin shark gets its name from is not how it swims in life. It swims like kind of like a smooth shovel shape for the head. Let's see. This is an interesting shark. It's hard to tell. Satanicus. I should be able to figure out what this is, but a great question, Quackers. Does this shark have hyper flexible jaw tissue too? I think the best way to answer that is all sharks do have flexible jaws, but it's not hyper flexible. So the goblin shark is hyper flexible. I would even say the sand tiger shark is hyper flexible. These sharks, I would say they're not hyper flexible, but they still have flexibility, because what's cool is that sharks have their chondrocraniums are not connected to the jaws. So like we're like the brain case, the eyes, the olfactory bulbs, they're not connected to the jaws by bone, or not bone, cartilage. There's not a solid piece there like we have. Like we have a solid piece connecting our our cranium to our upper jaw, which makes our skull. So that's actually really cool that we have that, and I feel like it's easy to take that for granted, where it's like, oh, this is just normal. But imagine like if you're a shark, your upper jaw is not connected to your skull, so you can launch it out, which is really wild. So it's really musculature that keeps the jaws intact. And they launch out to grab prey items and then, retract with the muscles. So all sharks have that flexibility. I would say the goblin shark is extreme in it, and I would say the sand tiger shark is extreme in terms of like they both can launch their jaws forward pretty dramatically. I'm trying to think if there's any other shark species that I know of that do that. I guess you can make an argument for angel sharks. I would say angel sharks have hyperflexible jaws too. Just scooping up prey items really quickly. Maybe the viper dogfish does that too. Viper dogfish launch their jaws out. Maybe the frilled shark. I'm not 100% sure how flexible frilled shark jaws are, because they have such a eel-like appearance. So maybe they don't need to protrude. That's a great question. I think that's all I can think of, but there probably are more. But I think that's all I got so far. So, I was looking up Lusitanicus. So this is I can't see the genus name, kind of from that illustration. Oh, woebegons, Howard, that's great. Yes, woebegons definitely have the hyperflexible jaws. So it's kind of cool that woebegons are in a different order from angel sharks, but they occupy a very similar niche, and they have kind of convergent evolution, like similar jaw designs as far as like they both have these like bear trap kind of jaws, like these huge mouths that lie in wait for an unfortunate prey to like swim by and then boom. So so great comment, Howard. Actually, I'm gonna star that. That's a great comment. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Lusitanicus. I wonder what this is. Because I've seen the name Lusitanicus before, but I'm not sure what kind of oh, there we go. It's a gulper shark. So Ceontroscymnus lusitanicus. Gotcha. Okay, so gulper shark. This really threw me off because I don't know much about gulper sharks, and the thing is, like, the tooth is what really kind of threw that for me, because it's a beautiful looking tooth on the lower jaw, but it has such a distinct cusplet with some serrations that I wasn't 100% sure what this was. So really cool to see. Lusitanicus is the low-fin gulper shark. So quackers. Oh, Howard, saw sharks. I don't know if saw sharks have hyper protruding jaws. It would make sense, but I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that actually. So it's a really good suggestion. Quackers, it always makes me think of the chapter of James the Giant Peach where the sharks are attacking the peach, but the characters check the bottom, there are no marks. Oh, interesting. And parentheses, Road Doll explains how the sharks have a flat mouth, and as a kid I thought it was such a genius writing, still do. But now I know more about sharks, it's kind of funny. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Oh my gosh. Love that. It's been forever since I've read that book and saw the movie. Actually, yeah, it's been like... I saw it fairly recently, like maybe 7 years ago, maybe 10, I don't know. So that was such a staple of like childhood, James and the Giant Peach. So this looks like an arrowhead dogfish, but this is also described as Ceontroscymnus, but it's such a long, distinct snout. Ceontroscymnus albus. It's hard to see what that is. Because I want to say that's like an arrowhead dogfish. I think it's an arrowhead dogfish, also known as a birdbeak dogfish. So these were recently, or not recently, but these were reclassified as their own group. Really cool looking sharks though. Also, let me put this link in the chat so people can read this, because these are just incredible illustrations. So what I love about the older texts, which are masterpieces, as far as shark illustration goes, they're publicly available, so anybody can read them really at any time. So, but great illustration of a birdbeak dogfish or arrowhead dogfish. Pretty nasty looking spine here. Ceontroscymnus crepidator. This is another kind of... This may have been reclassified. I know I've heard of crepidator before. And I don't think this is a gulper shark anymore. I think this one is... Also, this is a nice tour of deep water sharks. So a lot of these squaliforms... There we go. A long-nosed velvet dogfish. So this is its own kind of thing. But I love that name, crepidator. But what's kind of cool is like the norm for squaliforms, like dogfish sharks as an order, they actually are deep water sharks as a norm. And the famous ones, like the spiny dogfish or pike dogfish, they're actually kind of unusual as far as squall forms go, because most squall forms stay in deep water, and it's only a handful of squall forms that actually will go up to the surface or be coastal. So
There we go.
there we go. So this is the Portuguese dogfish. So it's night species. Ceontroscymnus coeolepis has given this incredible treatment with the jaws extended here. So you can kind of see that full pearly eye that we saw in its cousin in that first video. You have the jaws extended, the upper teeth long and narrow, lower teeth and that kind of conveyor belt. Or not conveyor belt, like this single blade. This illustration is fantastic because I can finally see the small, oh my goodness, the small spines in the interior of the dorsal fin. So, Quackers, he looks like a seal in a hot dog had a baby. Oh my goodness. Not wrong as far as this illustration goes. You know, like that rich dark brown color. I really like, and I'll zoom in on this. I really like seeing how this illustration captures the spines, because these are just so hard to see in life and in emotion. And I actually especially appreciate it because this kind of shark is a sleeper shark. So it was reclassified into the sleeper shark family. So its closest relative is the Greenland shark, or the southern sleeper shark. So those are massive, massive sharks, and this is kind of like a smaller version of them. As far as this genus, bucktooth dogfish. So yeah, it really does kind of look like it, doesn't it? So, is the irregularity in the gill spacing due to these boys being preserved? That's a great question, Quackers. So one thing that I've kind of learned recently, and I'll show you why 1 second, is sharks naturally will have irregular, like their gills are not evenly spaced. Some will be closer, some will be further away. So some of it might be preservation, some of it might be the shark's natural biology. But I've been working on an illustration myself. It's the best bull shark illustration I've ever made, and I was kind of carefully looking at the measurements, and this gill spacing is it's not uniform, so I'm going to grab this really quick. It's a work in progress, but 1 second. Alright. Thank you. Alright, so I know my screen's a little small, but and I wonder if we can... This is going to be a tricky position. So it's a work in progress because I have to do the shading. I know the lighting is probably not going to do this justice, and I know it's kind of cut off because I ran out of space. But this is the best bull shark illustration I've made, because the proportions are finally... Oh, thank you! The proportions are finally correct. It's like I would try to like eyeball bull sharks and, you know, try to draw them in the past, and sharks are so difficult, and like as Howard can attest, and I'm amazed what Howard can do, you know, as far as like getting those proportions right, like for the fins and how they relate to the body size. Like, thank you. Sharks are just incredibly difficult to draw because there's all these little nuances of the fin shape, the fin positioning, the size. Oh, thank you, Quackers. The size, and then we'll zoom in on this guy just for clearer viewing. So there's all these like little things that go into it, but I'm very, very pleased with this bull shark because I finally kind of got like where the eye is, the mouth is. This is very accurate for the most part. So. And it's kind of a cool process. This has been taking me weeks to get right as far as getting everything in the right position. And it helps me kind of appreciate what makes this species distinct. And specifically with bull sharks, what's really cool is that, I mean, just taking a long time to draw it is helping me appreciate, like, these are big, stocky animals. They're very powerfully built. They actually have huge heads, kind of relative to where the fins are. And overall, their body's just very stocky, powerful, big, girthy. It's kind of cool, like taking time to, like draw them the way they should be drawn, as far as, or that's drawled, the way they should be illustrated, the way they should be illustrated. Is just like it helps appreciate just like the nuances, like the little details here and there, as far as like where everything is proportionally. So I still have to shade this shark. And so I'll send an update once that's done, but I'm very, very happy with what this is so far, because I would try to draw bull sharks before and they're just kind of, something would always be wrong, and it's because I'm going too fast and like not really capturing the proportions of everything. Sharks are just difficult. They're just difficult. So oh yeah, absolutely quackers. Howard's a gift for real, 100%. So yeah. So I just like, I love that, like we have a really nice like shark art community, and we need more shark artists, because like I would say there's only, let me think of how many shark artists I could name that do a great job. But this artist, I'll include, I don't know the name of this artist, but they've actually done a fantastic job, so I'm going to include them. But like, so this artist, Howard, Mark Dando does incredible work and Mark is probably the most accurate, I want to say. And that might be it. And it's a testament to how difficult sharks are to capture, because there's a lot of illustrations out there, but a lot of them are just kind of wonky looking. And there's actually one artist who's pretty prominent, who I won't name because I'm not painting them in a good light, unfortunately. And no shade to them, because like they do so much better than most artists. But the thing is, it's like, and what's kind of interesting is like this artist that I'm thinking of does incredible fish art. Like they do like this top-notch bony fish art. But sharks are just such a different animal, as far as they're just built so differently. And now that I think about it, now that I'm like really like dwelling on this, I think bony fish, because they have like kind of like the hard structure and the scales, I think it's kind of easier to kind of get bony fish mathematically, like to really get the proportions right on bony fish. But for sharks, they're cartilaginous, they're mostly pure muscle, they're very hard to get samples of that preserve correctly, because they are cartilaginous, because they're pure muscle, because they're huge animals. It's just hard to kind of really capture their essence. So there's one very prominent marine life artist who does a great job at bony fish, and they're featured in a lot of very prominent publications. But I've noticed that their sharks kind of get a little wonky, like and specifically I've noticed like their basking sharks kind of have a little, kind of like a weird snout to the rest of the body. The great white has like huge eyes relative to the rest of the body. Like there's like wonk here and there. And so again, no shade, but it's just, I think I point that out to illustrate how difficult sharks are, that even in like professional publications, they're just really, really hard to get right. I have no idea how Mark Dando does it, but Mark Dando like captures basically lifelike images of sharks. I don't understand how he does it, but he does. And actually, let me pull up some Mark Dando illustrations just to kind of illustrate what I mean. Mark Dando sharks. Oops. And I appreciate the Sharks of the World sharks are Mark Dando. So and that, I mean, it makes sense. Like he's done two different versions. So he has the classics here, which are I want to say they were just like this is gonna be really terrible. I want to say these are almost like okay, I'm actually not gonna try and name the medium because I think I'm gonna embarrass myself, because they look almost like kind of like a mix of like sketchwork and watercolor. I want to say they have kind of like a light quality to them. So, and these are fantastic. They're just so accurate. But there's this new series that he's done, and that's in the latest copies of in Sharks of North America, which Howard is going to be receiving soon. He has this like new. This is it. Mark has this like new style that is a lot smoother looking, almost looks kind of digital, and it's like unbelievably accurate. So this is a beautiful oceanic white tip that he's done, and it just like looks on. It's incredible looking. So like just the proportions, the coloration, like it's kind of perfect in a weird way. And it's like it's unbelievable, and he's done these for like all these different shark species. I don't know how he did it, but he is probably he's the best I've like as far as like scientific like field guide shark drawings. Like he's probably the best. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody as far as like other field guide shark artists, because it's Mark, it's the person I was thinking of earlier, who I'm not like gonna name because I know I'm not doing a great job. And then I think it just kind of goes downhill from there, where like I have like older books from like the 90s, and it's just there's so much that's like wrong. There's one author from like the early 90s who has photographs of sharks, which is great, but then has like these weird line drawings. Like some of them are good, and then some of them are like, I saw like a dogfish screaming, and I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, and that, Howard, that's a great point. A lot of these sharks are drawn from poorly preserved specimens. That's true. Oh, Quackers, that's so cool. You have a bookmark from Mark Danda. It's so cool. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I think I know who you're talking about already. Oh my gosh. So, okay. Yeah. So, and again, no shade to them because they are great artists. But it's funny that if you know if we're thinking of the same person, that's no shade to their artists, because I could not do as well as they did. So. Oh yeah, no, I got you, Quackers. Yeah, I 100% agree. So. Oh, you've got a bookmark from the other person. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, still, I mean, it's still probably an amazing looking piece. So, like, the other person doesn't do bad art. It's just that sharks are just they're so hard, and I think the other person fell into the classic like trap of like, it's just the proportions. It's getting the proportions of the head, and it's just difficult. So. This illustrator is putting everybody to shame. This is really fantastic. Gulper shark. This is the classic one. I think sometimes this is known as a leaf scale gulper shark, or just gulper shark. This is Ceontroscymnus granulosus. This is a shark that the infamous jaw set story. I know I've told this multiple times, but I was gifted a jaw set from this species from Vim's, and unfortunately I misplaced that jaw set, and I think my family threw it out, which is so sad. It's one of the rarest jaws you can get in the world, and boo, it's not there, which is really sad. Maybe rightfully so. It's an endangered species, so you shouldn't really carry jaw sets. I was gifted it from a scientific group, but still, it's just like, nah, probably shouldn't have it anyway. But that's the worst shark thing I've ever done, is lose a gulper shark jaw set. That's sad. So beautiful illustration of this gulper shark. Let me see if I can move this so we can get the full scope. And I think it's because I zoomed in. So there we go. Beautiful illustration. Where I love that the coloration's kind of reminiscent of like a shallow water species. So. Kind of like that nice, like steely, kind of bluish gray. Oop. Let's see. There we go. Okay. This is interesting. This is really not that good. Like, Oxyrhina Gomphodon? So this is probably a mako shark. And specifically a short fin. This is definitely a mako shark because of the teeth. There we go. So this is a mako. Really cool to see an old name for this species. So the modern name is hold on, Isurus, right? Isurus oxyrhynchus is the correct name. So of mako sharks now. So the old name is Oxyrhina gomphodon. So there's a little bit of a connection there. But yeah, this is a very badly damaged specimen, and you can actually tell from the second dorsal fin and the anal fin, they're just very shriveled up, so that's part of the wonk. I will say this is almost laughable. This is a little too ridiculous, but this is probably specimen damage. Yeah. Yeah, this is probably specimen damage. Definitely agree, Howard. Just the snout is just like lower, or like just kind of weirdly lowered. The mouth is so big, distended. So part of that is probably preservation, but that looks just kind of wild. As far as shark art goes, better than most people, but still, like, that's just a little silly looking. This illustration is fantastic right here at the jaws, this close up. This looks actually really good. And then the teeth look fantastic too. Oh, does it sing? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's see, is there any others here? I feel like there should be. Yeah. Let's see, is that everybody? Okay. I think that's everybody for old shark art. So, but I would love to check out another piece. So let's see what else we've got. Alpine Weasing, oh my gosh. Oh, actually, before I forget, well, two things before I forget. One, let's make sure we check out the conservation notes for the Portuguese dogfish. And two, let's see if we could pick a shark for next week. So let me know in the comments what shark you like to cover. I think there's still plenty to choose from. You know what's kind of interesting, though? I'm realizing that, and it's actually good to realize because it's a sign that we've covered a lot of ground, but I'm realizing that as we're going to get closer and closer to the 500 known sharks, we're going to box in the options, so that's going to be really interesting to navigate. And we might be creative one day where maybe we'll start to incorporate more fossil sharks with the modern ones if we start kind of losing variety, because it's going to be biased between cat sharks and dogfish, you know, and it's kind of amazing. We've already exhausted the lamniforms. We've already covered most, if not all, of the lamniforms. I don't think there's anything else left. There might be a thresher shark of some sort. I think we did the longfin mako, so I think there may be a thresher shark. There may be a sand tiger left from that entire order. So it's going to be interesting down the road to see how we deal with that. But anyway. Please let me know in the comments a shark species or a shark group that you would like to cover, and we can find one. So, yeah. For the Portuguese dogfish, so we determined is nearly threatened. Let's see. Assessment information in detail. Let's figure this out. The Portuguese dogfish. Oh, sorry. Let me zoom in. Love that, Quackers. I'm going to star that. It's okay if we exhaust them all. We'll just go out and find some new species. So, I'm interested in swimming football. So we could definitely do a new Oxynotus shark. And I know we covered two already, so I'm just going to go through the past and see which ones we've got. So, we've got Squaliforms. So we did the angular rough shark. Well, we've covered some really cool ones. And the Caribbean rough shark. Oop. Let's see. Something really funny. I was watching a silly video from Corridor Crew called vape god. And full disclosure, I do not vape. I don't do that. It's really not good for you. But I accidentally added it to the Dogfish playlist. So I was going through the Dogfish and I realized Vape God was on it. I was like, nope, that shouldn't be there. So I removed it. So, fair and healthy. We do not want to promote that on Dr. Jaws. So, alright. So, I've got a good option for the rough sharks. Japanese rough shark, Oxynotus japonicus, might be kind of cool. We were talking about the aquarium. In Japan, so it might be kind of fun to do that species. So that's an option. Japanese rough shark, Oxynotus japonicus. Yeah. And then, dogfish do not promote drugs. Howard suggests the leopard cat shark. Let's see what group this is. Let's see. I don't know if I'm familiar with that species, actually. Although, let's see, leopard cat shark. That's a really cool suggestion. Leopard spotted swell shark. Oh, there's a tiger cat shark. That's cool. Leopard cat shark, got it. Ooh, that's a beautiful species, actually. Hold on. Did we cover that? Let me check this really quick. Leopard cat shark. Poroderma pantherinum. Let's see. And I'm sorry, I'm checking Carcharinoforms. We did the tall shy shark, deep water cat shark, swell shark, dwarf cat shark. Man, it's kind of incredible how many sharks we have on the channel. We did the lost shark. Wow, the coral cat shark, the pondicherry shark. These are all pretty serious species. Critically endangered species. Magnificent cat shark, Australian reticulated cat shark, blackmouth cat shark, small spot African sawtail, pepper cat shark, Antilles cat shark, broad-finned sawtail cat shark, yellow spotted cat shark. Cool. Okay, so we haven't done that. So let's see. So I think it's going to be between, do we want to go into deep water with the Japanese rough shark or shallow water with the leopard cat shark? I'm going to read some facts about each species. And I guess I'm the tie-breaking vote, so I guess I'll just pick. So let's see. Leopard cat shark might be fun because there might be some more footage. Rock, paper, scissors. This is going to be tricky. Oh, actually, you know what? We should decide this with shark trivia. So I'm going to ask a shark question, and whoever gets it will get the species. And then if neither get it, I'll pick. So I think that's probably the fairest way to settle it. So I'm trying to think of a good shark question to ask. So, okay. Want it to be fair, but also challenging. So let's see. Okay, I'll try this one. Is a basking shark, Ceontroscymnus maximus, more closely related to a great white, Carcharodon carcharias, or a whale shark, Rhynchodon typus? So what is a basking shark more closely related to? A great white shark or a whale shark? This is actually fun. I should do more shark trivia. That might have to be the holiday special. Is a shark trivia challenge. That might be a lot of fun actually to do. So Howard is guessing white shark. I'm going to give Quacker some time to guess. Okay, you're both right. It is a great white. So okay, so it is a great white. All right, so we have to do a second question. This is fun, actually. So congratulations, by the way. So yeah, yes. So basket sharks and great white sharks are both in the same order, which is lamniforms, and they both have that kind of look where they have the prominent dorsal fins, the huge heads, like relative to the body size. They have big heads, and then the mouth is under the eyes. Whereas whale sharks are in the order Orlectolobiforms, their mouth is in front of the eyes. So they're entirely different orders. So great job, guys. So I'm gonna do a second question. It was like I don't know if you could hear the Metro Prime music, but it's like heartbeat music. It's kind of like Millionaire. It's ridiculous. So let's see. Yeah, it's so funny to see you think over the music. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is a good trick question. So, okay, a leopard shark. The English term leopard shark can refer to two species, and they're both not closely related at all. So, the first species is the classic leopard shark. I think it's Triachus semifasciata, if I remember correctly. But it's just the classic leopard shark. It's kind of like a hound shark. It lives in California. Has these two very large dorsal fins. So that's the classic leopard shark, and that's correctly called a leopard shark. There's another shark that's referred to as a leopard shark that is very popular in aquariums, and it lives in the Indo-Pacific. But it has a more common English name. What is that name? And I can narrow it down if there's no guesses. But what is the name of the other species? Like a leopard shark refers to two different sharks. There's a shark that just is only known as a leopard shark. There's another shark that is sometimes is known as a leopard shark. Sometimes it's known as... This is really good because like the music's like actually like trivia music. This is pretty fun. Oh, Quackers might know this. And I can give some hints. Okay, Quacker says either bamboo or zebra. I'm gonna give Howard time to guess. This music is so intense. Okay, go ahead, Quack. Okay, never mind. Concur with zebra. You're both correct. It's a zebra shark. It's a zebra shark. So okay, so this is awesome. Okay, so I've got one more question. This is going to be true or false. And if you both get it right, then I have an idea for next week's stream. So, which is going to be interesting. So, but this is a true or false question. So, I talked to a shark keeper about it a year ago. This is so cool. Yeah, no, like that's so cool. You both got it. So, true or false? Great white sharks, mako sharks, porbeagles, and salmon sharks are all in the same family. Is that true or false? So, great white sharks, mako sharks, porbeagles, and salmon sharks are all in the same family. True or false? Damn, okay, true. Okay, yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh, you guys love sharks. Fantastic. And I mean, hey, Bruce. Yes, Quackers, you're correct. Welcome back, Bruce. Hope you're doing well. Quackers, you're correct. It's Landidae. So all species, white sharks, the two mako sharks, the short fin and long fin mako, the salmon shark, and the porbeagle, they're all in the same family, which is Landidae. I could have thrown in a curveball about the thresher sharks, but I mean that would have been kind of easy because they have the long tails. So, oh man, okay. Okay. Okay, I got one more. I'm sorry, I've got one more. Let's see. And, okay, I've got one more. Okay. True or false? Tiger sharks, bull sharks, and lemon sharks are in the same family. Is this true or false? This is my last question, because if Quackers and Howard get it right, and Bruce, please go ahead and play, because we're trying to decide next week's stream species. So we're doing a tiebreaker challenge between Quackers and Howard with these trivia questions. So they both like got the past three questions completely right, which is awesome. So the last one, tiger sharks, lemon sharks, and bull sharks, are they all in the same family? So Quacker says, yes, I think. So we're going to wait for Howard's answer. Okay, Howard's answer is false. Howard is correct. It is, and actually it was kind of funny. You're both sort of right. Howard is correct though, and I'll explain why. But yeah, the correct answer is false. Tiger sharks, they used to be considered the same family. Yeah, but this is really great effort. Really great effort. Like you both were neck and neck, which is so cool. So congrats to both of you. Tiger sharks used to be considered the same family as bull sharks and lemon sharks. They used to be all considered Carcharodontidae or the requiem sharks. But recently, and I want to say this is like 2021. I think this is 2021. And this has been kind of a theory in the making, and it really just finalized in 2021. But tiger sharks have such a unique mode of reproduction. The way that they carry their young is very different from the requiem sharks, and also biologically they're just a lot different. They're a lot bigger. They're like true omnivores, and scientists knew at least that they were in a different genus, Galeocerdo. But as time went on, they realized, wait a minute, tiger sharks diverged from the carcharinids a very long time ago, so they're actually their own family. So right now, they're treated as their own family, Galeocerdidae. So they're the only member of that family that's alive today. There used to be more tiger sharks in the oceans millions of years ago. But right now, there's only the one species, Galeocerdo cuvier, and it was very recently split up from the other, or from the carcharinids. So bull sharks and lemon sharks are in the same family, but tiger sharks are in their own family. So, but you guys are awesome. That was a really great, that was 4 rounds of trivia, and that was really cool to see. Quackers and Howard neck and neck, so congratulations. That was super cool. Howard won the tie-breaking question, so next week is going to be the leopard cat shark. So I'm going to copy and paste Or actually, I'll just retype it because I guess I can't do that here. But leopard cat shark, Poroderma pantherinum is going to be next week's stream. So congratulations, Howard. It's a really cool pick. So, and no worries, Bruce. What were the true? So, so lemon sharks and bull sharks are truly the same family. And then the other true false question I had was just the lamnids. So the white shark, salmon shark, poor beagle, and makos in the same family. And then the two questions I had prior were, what did I say? Oh, leopard sharks. So leopard sharks refer to the classic leopard shark, which is Triachus, and then the zebra shark, Stegostoma. And then, what was the first one I had? Basking sharks. Are they more closely related to white sharks or whale sharks? Even though they're filter feeders like whale sharks, they're more closely related to white sharks because of their evolutionary history. They're in the same order, lamniforms. So, super fun. I definitely should do more shark trivia for everybody. So I will keep that in mind, especially for future holiday specials. So, but good game, guys. So, I hyperfixated. On taxonomy for a while. Did some intense ones in high school. Sharks kept me sane. Honestly, I mean taxonomy. I'm very similar, Quackers. It's very fascinating to me, but also I love that it's kind of like an endless well of knowledge, and it's always interesting. So I'm really glad that it's a field that has been fascinating for that you've been fascinated with, and that has been meaningful to pursue. So that's super cool. Howard, yes, several species of Gallicerdo in my collection. That's so cool. I can't remember if this is true, but isn't there a Gallicerdo borealis or Gallicerdo arcticus? I think there's a tiger shark that's named after or it's named borealis or arcticus. It's really cool. But that's all. Please let me know in the comments the species of Gallicerdo you have. So. Since it's almost 11, we'll wrap up with the Portuguese Dogfish assessment. This has been a really fun stream, by the way. Really cool to talk about a deep water shark with a lot more info than a lot of other species. So, the Portuguese Dogfish is a small deep water shark known from a widespread yet patchy global distribution in the Atlantic and Indo-Pacific Oceans. It is recorded from the continental slope at depths of 128 to 3,675 meters. And mostly at depths of greater than 400 meters. The species was caught as target and incidental catch in small-scale industrial fisheries in some locations using a variety of fishing gear. There's been a number of management measures implemented in recent years for deepwater sharks, and the species has refuge at depth. So this is actually really great to see sharks having refuge at depth where they're just outside of fishing pressure. So beautiful to see that. Still, there's a high distribution overlap with intensive fishing pressure and a lack of species-specific management across its entire range. Population declines have been reported in parts of its range, but increasing trends in others. The Portuguese dogfish is estimated to have undergone a population reduction of 20 to 29% over the past 3 generations, 111 years, based on abundance data and actual levels of exploitation, and is assessed as near threatened, close to medium vulnerable. So, unfortunately, that's worse than that's worse than other deep water sharks you're seeing, because the lantern sharks tend to be least concern and they live in a similar zone, but not as bad as other species. So near threatened, close to medium vulnerable, kind of concerning. I love the idea of the shark having refuge at depth for most fishing pressure, but for deep water operations that still puts it in a really bad position. So I think, again, the most remarkable thing about this species that we learned tonight was just its lower depth limit, getting close to nearly 4,000 meters. That's one of the deepest sharks we've ever talked about on the stream, so it's so cool to see that. And I think what we'll do, just to kind of wrap things up, is we'll end on some footage on its close cousin, Ceontroscymnus Owen Stoney. So this is another kind of sleeper, a smaller sleeper shark, and I think we'll probably wrap it up after that. But really cool to see also with these kinds of sharks, the teeth type. I think what we learned tonight, just that dentition of latching on to prey items and then wriggling your body, the shark wriggling its body to tear these huge chunks of prey off. It's such a you know, really effective, and also like just like really like, what's the right word? Effective, and I don't want to say startling, but it's just like such a it's such a like incredible mode of feeding where like I don't say vicious or anything. Like there's nothing negative, but it's just like when you look at the teeth and the jaws of this kind of shark and how much damage it can do, it's just like it's pretty. Oh yeah, I want to pet him. It's pretty remarkable how they go about their business. So these are really cool sharks. So, but I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of wrap up with some shallow water footage of shallow water dogfish, since we're going to head into the shallows next week to meet the leopard cat shark. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a really fun stream, and I especially appreciate it because I definitely was having like a Monday where I just, you know, nothing wrong, just very sleepy today. But I mean, these streams like are so energizing. The community is super cool. Oh, quackers. I mean, you are a true shark biologist. You're right. Oh, her, no claspers. So, true shark biology. So, also, speaking of intense feeding modes, I can't get over this clip of the sculpin just going at it. Like, the sculpin is really tearing into this bait. It's really fun to see. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bruce, this might be kind of near your area. This is Yukon River. Did I have that right? Yukon River in British Columbia, I want to say that's where it is. But these are Pacific spiny dogfish, so it's kind of cool to see them in this clip. But anyway, love the shark trivia. That was a lot of fun. And I also loved going through the shark illustrations of the deep water species. It was actually, in a weird way, I wanted to talk about deep water habitats tonight, and in a weird way, it was kind of cool having a detour that showed deep water sharks just in these older illustrations from 1866. So it was such a cool sidebar. So really love how just what we covered tonight. It was super cool. But thank you guys so much for the support, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited about next week, and then again, as a reminder, more so for Bruce, because I don't know if Bruce was here for the beginning of the stream, but I will be out in 4 weeks for the big day. So, but until then, we got 4 sharks to cover. I'm excited to learn what we'll learn, and thank you all so much for joining tonight, and I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll reconvene for the leopard cat shark. So, but cheers, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.